is sharing her thoughts on how artists and creatives need to be supported at all times, but especially during these times. Please welcome the founder of The Fridge, Shelley Frost. Shelley, always good to catch up with you. Thanks so much indeed for being with us. The Fridge, a concept that I've sort of grown up with here in the UAE. I always see it as sort of, you know, part and parcel of Dubai. And I wonder, because when you set out to really focus on that community that might not have really had a platform as they're being overseen quite a lot in a fast-paced and business-driven city. Talk to us about the growth and how the community feel of The Fridge has developed over the years.
Yeah, as you say, in those years, and we're talking 18 years ago, when The Fridge was founded.
Fridge is getting bigger, isn't it?
There was a lack of a sense of a platform for the arts in general, to be honest, and the performing arts amongst them. And that absolute visceral need for artists and audiences to have a place to meet and hear and support and create, being essential to elicit that level of creativity that you want in a city. And so really in those early years sought to create the thing that we all felt was missing. What I didn't expect was obviously that we'd be sitting 18 years later and having a discussion about a community that has evolved so many times over within that sphere, and still marvel at its relevance nearly 2 decades down the road.
So we're talking about community and as an infrastructure, and obviously, you know, that's what The Fridge has kind of been doing for many years, creating like a community infrastructure within itself. How important is it during these times, like when people are also like looking for stability, to have, you know, like The Fridge in a community?
It was incredible. A couple of weeks ago, we had an open mic for the first time since Eid. And we had 30 people performing on stage that came out in full force, and it was extraordinary. We speak of uncertain times, but the day was particularly uncertain because we had the full tornado warning and massive rains. So I think that's an indication of the absolute desire for people to come out. And open mic is on a monthly basis and is an incredible space for the creative community to come out. Also for the full family, because there's a section in the beginning from 6:30 to 7:30 for kids, and the talent in that age group from the young through to school leaving is really quite humbling.
Oh wow!
And you said, like, so we're looking at these type of spaces and the creative spaces and the communities, and we're wondering, why do people gravitate towards them so easily? Like, people outside of the creative community always end up being in those communities and enjoying the shows, but why is that?
We all seek that human connection, and we seek to hear and be heard and to have an exchange that takes us beyond the basic exchanges of a day to day. I think that ultimately within all of us we seek an experience that elevates and puts us in touch with something that can't just be called a name or can't just be transacted. It's to have an experience that goes beyond that. So within The Fridge, it's living through the music of an extraordinary young artist or experienced artist that is sharing their craft, their feelings, and I think we're always surprised, aren't we? We'll continue to always be surprised at how much we recognize in one another, and we seem to always need to be reminded and like to be reminded of that.
You mentioned there, 18 years that The Fridge has been around since opening the doors, the Fridge door, and then growing ever since. Therefore, you've ridden a few challenges and hurdles during that time. How important has continuity been to the community feel, the community atmosphere, not just from a customer, from a client's point of view, but also from an artist's point of view, the ability to continue to perform?
It means everything, that continuity and that lifeline. and not to have a sense that one is completely sidelined or forgotten during this time. It becomes interestingly more essential during difficult times, and we've seen that every single time. And I think we see that feeling globally, that people turn toward the arts to find solace, to find expression, to find a connection that we spoke of at a time where there is uncertainty or question. So the continuity is extraordinary, and that behind the scenes takes a lot of perseverance, but that perseverance is worth it in being able to offer that stability of a space that through thick and thin, rain or shine, is there.
Yeah.
Amazing. So you mentioned earlier the open mic nights. What else have you got in store at the Fridge for us? What's on the schedule?
Well, absolutely brilliantly, on the 11th of April, we have our Metal Fest, featuring 4 extraordinary bands that are all ragingly talented, compose, write. They're called Stowaways, April, Triton, and Verdict. So tickets are selling fast on Platinum List.
Okay.
Genuinely. So if you want to get a look in on the community, the bands come from Lebanon, from Abu Dhabi, from Philippines, from India. So it is absolutely riveting.
Incredible.
And then we also have our probably well-known, I hope, concert series, which kicks off with at the beginning of May, every single Tuesday evening. And in May, that's featuring, following, I think, on the footsteps of like Rosalia and Ray, who are doing their extraordinary live shows and music at the moment, featuring 3 extraordinary female performers, from K-pop Bollywood to jazz mix to some good old soul, from 3 really, really outstanding women.
Fantastic. It sounds incredible. You need to get on that, Mertha.
Definitely. And that's the question that I have for you, Shelley. How can these artists who are in the UAE right now and looking for a space to perform, especially those who are emerging, get in contact with the Fridge and have a space there for them to show their talent?
Yeah, we are very, very, very open. All you have to do is drop us a line at artists@thefridge.me, or reach out to us on Insta, Facebook, absolutely anything, and we are very receptive. We also do auditions on a regular basis, probably twice a month, with new talent that is looking for new opportunities. Because of the basis of this community, essentially what we do from a client-facing point of view is we create really meaningful professional opportunities for, from emerging to professional artists, for stages from the likes of Mainstage at Expo to Dubai Opera to Coca-Cola Arena and everything in between. So many of the shows or festival lineups that this city has witnessed over the last 18 years have actually come through the hands of the amazing team at the Fridge.